All right, I've got a timer going, but honestly, I have no idea how accurate this is. I could be off by an hour. The judge was not very clear as he sort of excused us all and kicked us out of his courtroom so unceremoniously, I might add. He just booted us out and left us to fend for ourselves, really, on the internet, which is Abby's responsibility to take care of. Just for the record, Abby was first in chat. With her wave, she took over ownership of the internet. She gets to name it and use it as she sees fit. If you have any complaints, please refer them to her. So thank you, Abby. Appreciate you being here. Always, you're wonderful to have here. Stalwart. A Golden Mom, welcome. Angie, Golden Girl. Is Golden Mom and Golden Girl related? That's my question. Christine, Donna, Abby, Paula. Lori, Mac, Toxic Orchid, welcome. A little wave there from Toxic Orchid. I'll pass that on to JB, who's watching up in Canada. Can't participate in chat, but we know he's there. JB, shout out to you as well. Book Hermit, welcome back. 3 is lucky. Abby is the 3-time winner of the internet. So she's an old pro at this. The feed from the courtroom in New Mexico is black right now. There's nothing there. It's just a black feed, which means the camera's been disconnected, but the transmitter is still running. So we have nothing sent. We don't have any audio or anything else. I'm watching carefully for that. I'd love to get some hot mic audio to provide for you, but not coming in yet. Donna says, hello, everyone. Welcome to Recovery Addict. That's me. Family friendly room. So I might have had something to drink on lunch. No, just kidding. I don't drink. Family-friendly room, so please, no profanity. Please keep any and all political comments out. Thanks. Awesome. Obviously, if we ask for them, please share them. But there are some other platforms that might be better for sharing that type of material. This is a friendly one here. Thank you, Donna, for being a great mod for us. Lori says, how was the Sammy? It was delicious. It was a little bit delayed. I was drooling a little bit by the time I finished. Maybe you might have seen that. I could just smell the sandwich just sitting there in front of me. Shortly thereafter, as soon as I ended the stream, my wife came in and she confiscated my cup of hot chocolate. She took it. She just wanted to hold it, she said. But when she was done with it, the hot chocolate was gone. But she did make me another drink and brought me in another mug, only half full because that's all she can trust me with. She brought me something she calls Russian Punch, which does not have any vodka in it, just for the record. I know someone's going to ask. It's different. It's an acquired taste. Let's put it that way. I think it has pineapple juice and lemon and vanilla or cinnamon. It's got a mixture of stuff in it. I believe it's actually her grandmother's recipe. And it's grown on me a little bit. It's not my favorite, but I'll drink it. And it does definitely help the throat. Let's see. So the sandwich was great. Thank you. Appreciate you asking. We are back. Churchy, welcome to have you. He was rude. Judge was rude. Kicked us right out. Just said, hey, we're going to reserve the courtroom for the jury, which they have their own room already. But apparently the COVID protocols in New Mexico are a little bit stricter than the rest of the country right now. Mississippi Raptors and Reptiles. I want to say Rattlers, but Mississippi Rattlers. Welcome. Good to have you here. I'm going to call it Barney. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Abby, Purple Dinosaur. No relation, says Golden Girl. But you're welcome anyway. You're both wonderful members of chat. We appreciate you being here. Our Abby is smarter than she sounds. Our Abby sounds amazing. We got to hear her voice. Love her accent. Let's Let's see. I text you, Scott, just as soon as you tuned in. Let me check. Why don't I have a text? Did you text somebody else? I'm not seeing it yet. Give it another shot. Maybe you need to fix the internet first and then text me. TW's Abby, stay away from the red button. Yeah, Shane had us warn you, Abby, not to touch the red button and break the internet, because that is easy to do, as we've seen happen on so many other occasions. Not necessarily with you. I'm not accusing you of breaking the internet, but I am showing you the back of my head, which I tend to do a lot. Sorry about that. Let's get that fixed here. Bingo. All right. Do we have a time for a guilty, not guilty poll? Yes, I think we do. I'll go ahead and build that if you'll be patient with me just for a moment. Let me just get through some of the greetings here. Ginger, welcome back. Chandra, Miss Chris, saying vodka. No, that would be a totally different stream. I don't think, not being a drinker, I think that would be a bizarre stream. I'd probably get not just kicked off YouTube, but every other social platform as well. It did have pickle on my sandwich. There were only a few pickles left, so we are now pickleless in the Recover Addicts household, which will need to be remedied for sure. 2 cents is here as well. What are we drinking? Lemon, honey, ginger. I don't know what's in here exactly. I know there's no vodka, but I don't know what else is in here. I think it has some lemon. It has some sort of spice like a cinnamon or nutmeg or something. It's got pineapple juice, and it's hot. It's like a hot drink. It's very soothing on the throat, especially if you talk a long time. Hi, Abby, I will not spill it. This would be very bad on the computer. Luckily, the last thing I spilled on the computer was purified water. So of all the things I could spill, that was probably one of the better ones. It sounds like wassail. Does it have honey in it? I don't think it has honey. It might, but it's probably very similar to that. No cloves, though. I don't think there are any cloves. Okay, so the text is still not coming through, Abby. We might have to have you do some troubleshooting on the internet side. Russian tea with tang. That's a good name for it. Okay, pickles in a pouch. I've tried one, but I don't have a lot of them now. I've had a couple people, John, vouch for those pickles in a pouch, and I need to get more. But my wife, I was going to go shopping with her, and she chose the pickles. I think I need to be there to choose the pickles in a pouch. I think that's what's going to have to happen. Gonna need some Patreon, methinks. Maybe was a good holiday drink. It is. It's a good drink. I like it in hot chocolate. Today is absolutely. It is beautiful. It's cool. It's crisp. You know, think of like a crisp, cool apple fall weather. I don't know why I put apple in the middle of that, but that's what I was thinking. No, like a cold apple. That's what the weather is, and it's cool enough that you can open the doors. We left like both doors open, and the wind just rushed through our house, and it's awesome just to have like the fall breeze in the house. It's a little bit chilly to have it open for a long time, but it's nice to get that fresh air just circulating in here. Vin, you were watching the replay and missed the live notification. It happens. At least you were still with us in spirit. Abby says, last in chat, Recovery Addict, can I post a link to a channel that has done a thing on the Boone case? He's a good guy and does great videos. Abby, I trust you on that one. For the most part, we don't do links in chat, but go ahead. We have a while before the Boone case really spins up, right? We've got till January 30th. Go ahead and post that. If somebody is curious or wants to get up to speed on that, I think that might be a good thing, because you've had some good information on that, Abby. I think you've told me about that before. Criminal Scum says, I bought one of those giant pickle jars one time. Yeah, can you ever have too many pickles? I mean, I know they sell them in like that 5-gallon barrel type thing, but Lori says, make my own dill pickles. Delicious. Wonderful. I will have to try them. Got my kitchen clean, stuff out to make dinner, and my customer callbacks done. Wonderful. So you're ready to just settle in with a nice cup of something and watch the show. Still no feed yet from New Mexico, so they have to buy you a cup of coffee, small money for you. Who's Ann? Who is that? I missed the other side of the conversation. Lori says she got paid $100 on his 21st birthday to swallow the worm. Oh, ugh. Tequila. She's gone through how many lawyers? 6? Yes, she's on her 6th lawyer. I guess you could say she's gone through 6 because she had a private lawyer for some amount of time. I don't know for how long. Yeah, Sarah Boone, that's going to be a crazy one to watch. And Abby, thank you for posting that. I've discovered that when I click on your link, if I don't do it perfectly, to share it, it sends me from my chat page to that link, and that's not what I want to do. So thank you. That link that Abby's posted will get you up to speed on Sarah Boone. That's the suitcase murder. If you're not familiar with that one, we're going to be looking at that one the end of January with great anticipation, I might add. It's going to be bizarre. We're gonna hear the word. I think our drinking word for that will have to be intent. She did not intend for this to happen. So any version of intent will probably be a drinking word there. We haven't done a drinking word on the skier trial. What would our drinking word have been had we done a drinking word on this one? Let's see. Are we on verdict watch? Donna, I think so. Here's the problem. We know that the judge said to the jury, go out for an hour. Get your last fun in because it's time to buckle up and make your decision. But he said, when you come back, I'll give you your charges type thing, and then you're going to deliberate here in the courtroom. And so as part of that, he sent the camera out, made the camera disconnect. And I'm not sure if the camera had time or will have time, depending on if it's happened in the future or past or will happen at all. I'm not sure. I'm about as confused as the prosecution right now, really. We might be deliberating right now as far as the jury goes. And if they are, they're doing it in the courtroom where the camera would be connected. I'm not sure if we missed that brief interaction where the judge says, okay, now the courtroom is yours, jury, go ahead. I'm not sure if that's coming up. So we're just sort of like on standby, waiting for it. KDQ0882 says, I'm new here. What's a drinking word? What we did is everyone has a different beverage. I drink a lot of Mountain Dew and water. I've switched to water and hot chocolate and Russian punch and stuff. But basically, we choose a word that's used frequently, maybe too frequently in the case. And every time we hear that word used during the live stream, we take a sip. And some of us are likely to drown if we drink too much water, but it makes it fun just to listen and it gets rid of some of the monotony of the slow parts of the court case. So that's what it is. Great question. Let's see. Mace. Mace might have been the drinking word. Upside down. Not intentionally for Boone. Drinking word is AR. Yeah, that's... Speaking of mace, since so many of you guys are talking about mace here as the word here, let me show you just briefly, if I can get this set up correctly. This was the most bizarre moment for mace during this. This is from the prosecution, the closing statements, the rebuttal closing statements. Okay, so here we go. Let's get this played here.
The mace wasn't sprayed. And there is no explanation for why. If it was happening like the defendant says, and Guillermo's striking him over and over and over again, why, if you wanted to attack him, wouldn't you turn the mace around and use the mace? Wouldn't that be a lot more effective than just trying to hit him with this light?
Watch this demonstration part.
I mean, seriously.
Punk, punk, punk.
Do it yourself. Seriously.
That little click
and
you hear at the end.
And if the struggle happened.
That little click you hear at the end. Oops, let's switch here. That click you hear at the end is the lid from the safety, the protective cover over the mace, snapping back into place. Because as she was hitting it on her arm, that was popping up. And literally, there was an opportunity for the mace to have sprayed in the courtroom while that was popping up. And if that had happened, imagine this as the prosecutor. You're basically saying, seriously, this little can of mace, is that what he was scared of? There would have been like a full-on chemical mass, what would you call it? Just a hazmat team would have been on site to sort of clear out the chemicals and clean everything and evacuate everybody and clear the air and have oxygen on hand for people. And just, it would have been a disaster for this little can of mace, is that really so scary? Yeah, watch what the response would have been had that actually gone off when she was hitting it against her arm right in front of the jury. Oh, that would have made that just the case of the year. Alleged mace. Excuse me, Chandra. Thank you for correcting me on that. I do need a good cup of something, Katrina. Go ahead and get that. Do we all want to do that to her? Bonk, bonk, bonk. This was so funny. It was so funny. Katrina says mace was probably empty. There's a good chance it was, but nobody has tested it. Nobody has tried to test it. Every single person that had an opportunity to test it said they didn't. So nobody knows. It might be full and never has been used. We don't, aside what was used in, what Dean said it was used. Dean said Guillermo was rubbing the made jar into his temple with force. That is painful. The mace jar. Is mace different than pepper spray? Question. Mace is a brand name. I think OC spray is the official name. That's my understanding, 2 cents. It's like saying Kleenex and tissue. They're very similar, although the actual composition of the tissue might be different from brand to brand. But basically, it's a spray that triggers the eyes to water. It burns quite a bit in your eyes. It makes breathing sort of difficult. It's an irritant in the lungs. It'll cause your nose to run, like a faucet. It basically debilitates you. It makes it very difficult to keep going. That's why they do this in training to police officers as they're getting on the force. They learn what it's like to be sprayed with mace, because honestly, most of the time you spray someone with mace, you're probably going to be breathing it yourself. It's not a projectile unless you use it in a firearm, but a little canister like that, you're spraying in the immediate area that you're in. So you have to know what it was like. The mace safety was off. You can hear it. You go back and listen. You can hear that little lid clip shut. It's a little spring-loaded lid that covers the mace, the spray button. So yeah, it could have been a pepper spray. It could have been similar to that. We don't know. It wasn't tested. She's going to regret that for a long time. I think that will be one of her many regrets out of this court case. Let's see. I'm falling behind. Sorry, I was reading slowly, and I just skipped ahead. I'm now caught up on chat, but I missed everything you guys said, and I apologize for that. It looks like we've got a lot of people back in our courtroom of public opinion. Songbits Laura says, "Hey, I'm missing the notification bell on YouTube. Is anybody else?" Abby, owner of the internet, what's happening? That is your responsibility today. If you can get that sorted. Let's see. Katrina, no notification. I'm glad you guys found me, even without the notification. I'm glad you're back. Okay. Songbit said, I found the bell. Good. Yeah, it's one thing to be subscribed on the channel, but to actually be notified when I go live, you have to turn on the bell notification and then choose what type of alerts you want. So it's like a 5-step process to actually be notified. I wish it were a little simpler, but it looks like Abby did fix it. Thank you very much. Let's see. Quit moving stuff around on me. I apologize. That's what YouTube does. Why so much concentration towards the mace? Well, Kelly, that's important for the defense because they're trying to show that he was being attacked. And the mace, although the mace itself is not a lethal weapon, when you're being attacked by somebody who's just threatened to kill you, and they want to spray you with the stuff that makes it very difficult for you to see or move or breathe or continue doing whatever you were doing, including defend yourself, it can add up to a lethal situation. And I think that's why they put the focus on that. Cakes Boo, it's good stuff. It's like Banaka, it burns. It's an irritant. It doesn't have a lasting effect, but it's basically a lighter version of what's in bear spray, which is more of a pepper oil situation. It doesn't harm the bear for a long time, but the bear doesn't like it. The bear will be coughing and sneezing and snot going everywhere and eyes burning. It will just basically stop the attack. My son is a sheriff and has been maced and tased. Yeah, we got to do that in our little police citizens academy. There was one night where everyone got to sign up and sign the waiver and then get tased. Let's see. Cut a pepper up without gloves and touch your face. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to feel like. Make sure it's like a habanero or Carolina ghost pepper or something like that. Okay. Still no feed from New Mexico. Let's see. It's illegal in Australia. It's for the mace. Mace is considered a weapon. Yeah, they wanted to focus on the fact that the canister was small and light and plastic and wasn't a weapon. But I don't know. Growing up, there was a term that we heard in school that we considered an item like that an equalizer, because having something like that in your fist when you're punching changes the way the blows feel on the receiving end, and it helps hurt people more. Can you put mace on tacos? Asking for a friend. TW, I'll go ahead and authorize that experiment, but you're going to have to film it and send us the video. I like the taser better. Taser is very effective as long as you get both prongs in. It just overrides the central nervous system, and off go the lights. I remember when you could have stun guns. Those were illegal now except for law enforcement. Yeah, in high school, I remember a kid had a stun gun. He was zapping each other with it in class. Let's see. Ouch, my husband cooks with those habaneros and my eyes burn in the house when he cooks a pan of them. Yeah, that's the steam from those things. It's like mace in your kitchen, pepper spray. Yep, like a roll of quarters or brass knuckles, pretty much. Ashley says, I missed the defense closing statement. Was it better than the state's? It was awful. The defense closing statement was the defense getting up and looking at a yellow notepad where they'd scribbled keywords and reading them off, and then just shaking their head and acknowledging the lost point on every one of them. It was so bad. But part of it was her getting up and hitting herself in the head with a can of mace, which may still have mace in it. It was great. It was great video. Pictures or it didn't happen, says TW. You're right. We want to. Oh, excuse me. That Russian punch is going to come back and get me. We want to see that video for sure. If you put that on a taco. I got dry stunned by a bouncer in my youth. Don't recommend it. Yeah, it probably lit you up. Okay, so where we're at is here. What we know from what the judge has told us and over the video before he unceremoniously kicked us out of his courtroom. We know that today is voting day. If you haven't voted, by the way, please go and vote. This is your civic opportunity, duty, responsibility. So please take the time to go vote. If now's that time, it's awesome. For most of us, we don't have big lines to vote, but some people do. Just consider that. You want to definitely get your voice heard in the election. So with that being said, the judge they're going to start deliberations today. They might be doing it right now. According to my clock, they should be. But the judge is going to end early, so the jurors who have not voted yet can go vote. So I'm not sure if the jury will come back with the verdict in time, or we might have to wait till first thing in the morning to get that. Because I don't see this going longer than that. I mean, do you think we've got like a lone holdout that just refuses to agree? I don't think the state has presented enough evidence to convince somebody that strongly. Okay. Defense smackdown was brutal. They went straight for the jugular. They were very effective, very passionate, very articulate. Basically hit all the points and threw it back on the prosecution's lap. And the prosecution did what they've done the whole case long, which was make a mess in the bed. I like you so much. I'm watching you with my computer and my phone. So now, and you know what screencast to my TV now? I'm on like 4 screens. You've got quadruple recovery addict going on. Now you really are an addict, criminal scum. And a sticker. I voted yes. Get the sticker. Abby's going to write me in for president. I'm not sure if this is a good or a bad thing, Abby. There's a lot of things I would not be able to do if I was president, and I think daily live streams are probably one of them. I hope Dean gets out of jail today. I feel bad for him. Right? If he's innocent, if he's found not guilty, let's put it that way. Not if he's innocent, but if he's found not guilty, today he should be out. He should be free, a free man eating a steak dinner tonight. but I don't know. Lori's reminding me. She says, sitting on my closed porch, I need a hoodie. Brr, it's cold. Where's that merch? I'll work on it. I'll work on it, Lori. I promise. The defense was good at closing. The state was terrible. The defense has been solid at every phase of this trial. And the state, they haven't been terrible at everything. They just have been almost like woefully unprepared. Like they expected it just to go well without the preparation and the planning. All the pieces just sort of thrown together, shake it up, it'll make a cake, you're fine type thing. And it didn't make a cake. It made a mess. And the fact that they're not organized and having a hard time conveying the thoughts, the process, the logical pattern that they're trying to convince the jury to accept as truth, they're not getting there. Big happening. Oh, Adventures with Purpose. Kelly Harper, I love this. Adventures with Purpose, if you haven't... oh my goodness. Owner's been arrested for child sexual assault. I don't know if there's any video on that yet. Adventures with Purpose is a group that does recovery of lost vehicles. Recovery of lost vehicles, generally underwater. They use sonar to find that. That is news I had not heard. Oh my. Okay. Let's see. Abby put up... oh, hey, I just got a message. I got a message from Abby even. As we have the burner phone number listed on the screen, feel free to call, text, send a picture, leave a voicemail there. And I finally got the message saying, is it okay if you post the link? So I don't know why it took so long to come through on that one, Abby, but it's through now. So our connection is working. What was the poll I said I would do? What was the poll? Somebody remind me and I will build it right now. Start a poll. Who was it that said we needed a poll? And don't all chime in. You know who you were who asked about the poll. Let's see. We don't have a drinking word yet. We're sort of late in this trial to establish one. But if we pick up the case tomorrow for Matthew. The Florida case, the math teacher murder. We'll establish a drinking word early on for that one. Okay, so it was just a guilty or not guilty poll? Okay. Envy versus Dean Cummings. We're going to also have a hung jury option as well, since that is an option. The thing I like about this poll is there are no B's in it, so I can type it without a typo. Okay, so I think I spelled that right, and the poll is up, so go ahead and vote. We've got about 85 so people in here right now, so I expect about half of you at least to be able to stop what you're doing and vote in that poll. AJ says, what time in the morning does Recovery Addict typically start a live? AJ, I am trying really hard to go live at 9 a.m. every weekday morning. Saturdays, I actually have a prior engagement. I frequently clean the church building where I worship on Saturday mornings at the same time. So I'm going to go later on Saturdays, but that's my schedule, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. We do about an hour, sometimes a 2-hour morning show where we're just going to recover a little bit of what happened the day before, what's coming up, what we can look forward to. And that might be our only stream for the day, especially if it's a slow trial day. If there's nothing else to cover, it'll just be catching up and saying hi and checking in and maybe getting some tips from you guys, because a lot of you guys have your ear to the ground on some of these cases that are coming up and know about them before I do. So 9 a.m. If you're not getting notifications, that's a good spot. Shannon says, is Recovery Addict a lawyer? I'm better than Daryl Brooks, but no, I'm not a lawyer. I am a law fan. It's ever since I was a kid. I love reading the law. I love studying the law. I love watching court cases. It's just been in my blood. And Colonel Scum Church cleaning live stream. It's not as exciting as it sounds. But yeah, so no, Shannon, I'm not a lawyer. We'll jump back to that one. But we do have some legal representation on here. We have several people who are professionals in the legal field. Notably, we have Matthew Harris out of Texas, who is our resident lawyer, who comes on here for clarifications and explanations and just some good old banter back and forth. So we do like to have some actual legal minds in the mix, and sometimes I think we're going to try to get him actually on a live stream where he'll be on a panel with us, and we'll have you'll be able to see him and talk to him just like you're talking to me. But we also have some other people here that are professionals in their own fields, and it's good to have them there. So no, not an attorney. Let's see. Book Hermit says in Australia, polling day is big for local schools and charities. They have cake stalls, and there's always a Democratic sausage to be eaten. It's a thing. Huh. Book Hermit, I'm going to take your word on that. So it's basically their voting day, right? It's an election day. Yeah. Yeah, sad news if that's the case with Adventure with Purpose. Man, that's a disturbing allegation. Kelly says, I thought he was a paralegal. I have helped people. I don't do any legal. I don't get paid to do law work. I've helped people research situations and point them in the right direction. But I can't give. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice. I just give my own advice. And as we learned on this case, I could watch some YouTube training and become a lawyer, as Abby pointed out, because you can do that and become a lead prosecutor. So that was good. Wellness Sarah said, my dad was a prosecutor involved in the Jeffrey Dahmer case in Ohio. Oh, wow. That would not be a fun one to be involved with. Yeah, wow. I was a paralegal but didn't do criminal. 2 cents. Well, wonderful. If we get some information or questions that you have the answer to, please chime in as an expert witness, because the threshold for me to certify you as an expert witness in the court of public opinion is fairly low. If you can convince me that you know what you're talking about, we just might believe you. So that would be good. Okay, so still nothing. Jury watch. What would you like me to do? Do you want me to sit here glued to the TV? Do you want us to stay here and talk? Do you want to trust the notification button or the notification bell? I can sit here and watch this, and as soon as it goes live, we'll go live. Or we could stay here and just shoot the breeze and talk about food and other stuff like we did this morning, which was delicious, I might say. It was wonderful. Oh, we've got the poll results. How did I forget that? Let's see. End the poll. Looks like 77% come with the not guilty, 17% guilty, and a hung jury at 5%. Okay. And out of 58 votes. So not bad. Not bad. AJ says, yay, I was a court reporter. That was interesting. I imagine some days were very interesting and other days were very, very dull. That's sort of the life of a reporter, depending on how you get assigned to different things. But the court reporter, were you the one who typed? AJ, are you the one who types with that funny little keyboard? What's the device called? Or were you like a reporter for a news station? Help me understand. My cousin with GBI was involved with catching Wayne Williams in the Atlanta child murder in the 80s. Took a lot out of him. Oh, I believe it. Crafty Cow says, recovery addict, you would definitely be a better solicitor than DB or prosecution in this case. Right, but I still I would not want to defend myself. This is not, that's why we pay the lawyers the big bucks that we do. This is serious work, working in a courtroom. Golden Mom says, shoot the breeze because I don't think it will be long till we get a verdict. As soon as we go off the air, hang on. As soon as we go off the air, we'll have a verdict, I'm sure. But, you can't say guess who's back without having the music things on the back, on the sides of it. With the guess who's back again. Shady's back. Matthew Harris Law, PLC. Speak of the devil. We were just speaking about you and your expertise in the law and how much we appreciate you being on the channel. Matthew is a lawyer. If you have any legal questions, especially if you're in Texas and need some help, he may be able to help you or at least point you in the right direction. For a fee, of course. You can't get his expertise and brain skills for nothing. Like we do. Recovery addicts. Is the camera taken down? And if they're using the court, is the camera taken down? And they using the court? It's going to be different, right? That's where we're at right now. I mean, I can show you. Here we go. This is the feed we're getting right now from the courtroom. That's the audio. That's the feed. It's nothing. It's just black. The camera was literally taken off the tripod, its mount, and the audio was unplugged. The camera was turned off. The transmitter is still going, just sending black. And so we won't know anything until the photographer is allowed back in the room. And if the jury's in there deliberating, he's not going to be allowed back in the room. So that's where we are. We're hoping that the camera is able to be set up and everything connected in time to hear the verdict, right? Stenographer, is that the term for a court reporter? KQD says you got the notification bell for this live. Good, it's working, at least for some of you. Okay, Matthew Harris is in the house. Let's see. AJ says the court cases were recorded, so I didn't need to type the words of the case, but I did write and the docket everything that happened. Oh man, word for word. And you're like, was there ever times when you're like asked and answered? I've already written this once. Abby's pointing out that Matthew's late. Matthew has reasons. He has people. He has people who need him, who depend on him to protect their rights and their freedoms. His ears were burning though, and he is here now. Shout out to all. Yes, this Abby's list right here. She's listed Matthew's YouTube channel. Matthew is also, in his spare time, when he's not here helping us or helping his clients, he is a YouTuber as well. And he has a YouTube channel focused on law. You know, what else? And so he has some great, insightful videos. I would highly recommend if you would like to watch those and learn a little bit about, you know, what we think is legal and what we think isn't legal. That would be the best spot to go to do that. And it's very entertaining as well. Criminal Scum says, my grandfather was a homicide detective in New York. I don't know all the details, but he made some enemies with mafia and moved to Texas. He became temporary chief of police in SA in the 70s. Man, some of you guys have some crazy connections. I had a contact who was the chief of the investigation over the Valdez oil spill with the FBI. That was pretty bizarre, hearing stories about that. It's different on the inside when you hear the stories about, you know, what really happened from the people who were there. Some of those stories just don't make it to the courtroom or the press, and it can be pretty insightful. Small claims was pretty boring, but bench warrants were never dull, and restraining orders would make me cry, so I wasn't cut out for that. Oh, AJ, I'm sorry. Yeah, you get the mix of everything. Kelly says, I love courtrooms, worked for defense criminal attorneys in the past. True, Celtic is back. Welcome. Josh says, nobody's hit the like button. We didn't want to break anything, Josh. You know, it was fragile. We weren't sure if it was going to work when we came back. We know that we don't have a feed from New Mexico yet, so nobody's hitting anything yet. If you want to try hitting the like button now, give it a try, and if it works for you, we'll have some more people try as well. The jurors left to post it and took the afternoon off after the state's closing. They went for a lie down. Maybe I know they're going to go out and vote, but they've got till 7. I think 7 o'clock is usually where the polls close, depending on the state. I'll have to check New Mexico, but judge is going to give them some extra time to vote, so it's probably going to be at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half before then. So they're going to close at 5:30. What time is it in New Mexico? What time is it in New Mexico?
It's 2:32 p.m. in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So we
have some time, right? 2:32. I think we've got at least 2 hours before the judge would excuse them. I thought the judge said 1 hour, jury be back in the courtroom would be theirs, right? And I think that's where we are right now. I think the jurors are roaming the courtroom now. Some are probably trying out the judge's chair, maybe using the gavel a little bit. Just really making themselves at home because they've been confined to that little corner this whole time. So I'm pretty sure the deliberations are over, but that's just me. I'm gonna keep an eye out. I've also got some social media channels that I watch that are pretty good about finding when a verdict has been reached. So I'm gonna keep an eye out here on those and just make sure. Make sure nothing's coming across. Latest. Not seeing anything yet. If anyone else sees something differently, if you get any notifications through any of your channels, which I know some of you are very well connected, please let me know, and we'll pass that along. People. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So news is silent on this. Laura, thanks for subbing to Matthew. I'm sure he appreciates it. You won't regret it either. AJ says, my stepdad worked as a copy on the Green River Task Force. As a copy or a cop? Did I understand that right? Always interesting here in Seattle. I can imagine. There it is, a cop, not a copy. I thought you had come up with a new term that I wasn't familiar with. Let's see. Well, Sarah hit the like button and it didn't break. So it's on 45. 45 people hit it. I think it's safe to go ahead and really just pound it then. Thank you for holding off till now. I appreciate that. Kelly says, my father was a civil engineer and John Wayne Gary bid on his jobs in the past. He was a contractor in Chicago. You guys all have amazing connections. My ex's brother was chief of police of New York, says Rich Buddy, during 9/11, and he wasn't home. I put my feet up on his desk and relaxed and smoked a fatty at his desk. Rich Buddy. Oh, man. Take inspiration from the state attorney and hit yourself in the head with the like button. Yeah. It's lightweight and plastic. It won't do any harm. Bullish in Seattle, you had a school shooting. One shot and caught the perp. Was the person injured or did they pass away? Unfortunately, this storyline is playing out over and over across the nation and a little bit beyond as well. But it does seem to be a pandemic of school shootings. I know it just helps the algorithm, right? Yeah, it does. Yeah, and sharing helps as well. We've sort of hit a plateau on subscribers. I'm trying to get to the 3,400 mark, but I'm like 10 shy. I'm not sure why, but it's just stuck there. Let's see. Everyone maced the like button. You guys are too good. My dad, says Katrina, my dad was a mountain rescue patrol and a state archery champion, so a lot like Dean. Yeah, well, what do you think, Katrina, what do you think of the state when they started their closing arguments, basically coming out the second time, I guess it was the rebuttal, talking about how he's such an extreme skier and an adrenaline junkie and, and not scared of anything. Do you think that got any traction with the jury? That was weird. Cakes Boo says, you're so lovely, recovery addict. You seem like such a decent guy. Well, thank you. I hope my wife agrees with you. I think she's amazing as well. Love being here with all of you guys. You guys are great. Can you pop us into the Terry case? There is eye rolling happening. Let me take a quick look over here. Let's see. 3. Give me just a second to get this set up here. I've got to make it so I can't see what's going on, so I can make it so you can see what is going on, if that's confusing enough for you. Terry.
Self-defense case, then wasn't I wrong for letting it in for identity and intent?
Well, no. I think intent is the opposite of self-defense. What was your intent when you did it? Did you shoot this person and kill them in self-defense, or did you shoot this person and kill them basically unjustified? Because that's what self-defense really is. Self-defense is a question of what is in the mind of the defendant at the time that they commit the crime. Do they do it because they are
sorry about that audio
of the imminent threat
my
of
ears
a
are
forcible
bleeding
felony?
too.
Or do they do it because they're intending to kill someone and there's no fear that plays into it? That's an intent question. Self-defense is all day long a question of intent. The jury's going to have to ultimately decide what is in the mind of the defendant.
Is this a sidebar?
Judge, how do we get away from Balzor? Balzor was very clear, for the record, that 75, 7, 3rd, 380, Florida 2nd District Court of Appeals.
I'm so sorry.
2011. That said, you have to
New
not
merch,
only have a
replacement
strikingly
headphones.
similar offense, which which we don't, which we went through at the Williams Rule hearing about why this case is not strikingly similar to the Michigan case. But you also have to have something unique about the two cases that somehow are like a fingerprint of the defendant. And the factual scenario in Balzort is directly analogous to the factual scenario here.
Okay, so the gentleman that's going right behind my
Domestic
picture right
violence
now
cases.
is the
The
defendant
first one,
in this case. This is we just
victim
popped in to
survived. The
watch
second one, the victim did
out of
not.
Florida.
You had
Matthew
both
is
of
it
them being by
Matthew.
the same instrument, his hands, strangulation. Nothing was unique about that, and the trial court let in both of that, the evidence about both the actual trial that was being tried and the evidence
Matthew
about
Terry,
the
that's his
prior
name.
case where the victim survived, claiming it was under the guise of Williams Rule. And the Second District Court of Appeals said no and reversed it and said not only were they not strikingly similar because the first victim survived and the second didn't, but it also was nothing unique that would have allowed
So,
for
AJ, we're
those instances to
in this
become
case,
in-
Florida is very open in their
There is
courtroom,
nothing
and so we've
about
got
the
we've got
Michigan
cameras
case
like set up
that
with
in any
good
way
viewing
some
angles
sort of
and
fingerprint
great audio,
proves
and it does come across almost like you're in the middle of a TV show with actors. But that's why we've got such great video here.
Somehow to claim that we know Matthew Terry's the perpetrator here.
Matthew Terry, right?
You make good points, and I don't want to make a mistake on this. This is a very important issue. Mr. Diaz,
Here's the judge.
As to your response on Balzort and the uniqueness.
Okay, so I want you to listen to what defense said, because she's absolutely correct in what she said, but you have to listen to it carefully. It's to prove the defendant did it. That's identity, right? Not intent. Okay?
Katrina,
I know that for identity,
this
it
is
has to
Matthew
be
Terry
strikingly
out of
similar.
Florida.
Although I contend that there is a difference between the way Ms. Perry describes it as a fingerprint, which is unique, is not the same standard as similar. It's not identical evidence. It's similar evidence. It has to be similar, and I return to the analogy I gave you.
Okay, say it again. I remember it.
That-
you know,
that
I
glow,
remember
it's
that.
got a good
Dial,
shine.
And Your Honor's going to decide at some point the dial has been turned, whether it's 7 or 8 or whatever the number is you put, that's where it became similar. However, while I concede that the defense is correct as to what Balzort says, as I was sitting
Everyone
here,
get your drinks ready.
I opened Professor Earhart. And Professor Earhart is very kind to break up Williams Rule evidence, both for issues of intent, that, for example, starts on page 301 of the 2022 edition, is a separate section from intent, which starts on page 307.
Wait, I think you might have misspoke. I think you said intent. I think you said intent twice. I could
Sorry,
be wrong.
intent and then an identity. Identity starts on 301, and 307 starts intent.
Got a
And
weird
if you
audio
look
thing
at
happening.
intent,
You guys
and
hearing
I
that?
would ask Your Honor to read the case because I hate not having a case here to hand you, but I do not. You will see that Professor Earhart writes that evidence is admissible under section 90.4.
Who is the guy that just checked his watch?
When it is probative to show intent, which is generally an ultimate issue in the case. Offering the evidence to prove intent is similar to offering it for some other permissible Williams Rule purposes, such as motive and plan, which form the basis of inferring intent. If the collateral acts are relevant to show intent, they are admissible even though they are not similar.
What case is it citing?
Well, so that's footnote number 3. And if you go into footnote number 3, and I was here reading all the cases, you come to Vincent versus State.
So as he's talking about these previous
Southern
the
Second,
case law that he's citing, Churchy's got a summation of what we're watching right now. Okay, we just popped in mid-trial for this Matthew Terry case out of Florida, which has great video and great audio, and hopefully we'll be watching this one tomorrow. But just the quick summation of this, the Cliff Notes version, is that he allegedly killed his girlfriend. Her throat was cut. He was found in the bushes in his underpants with cuts on his neck and arms. So that's the quick version.
Now, I get it. In that case, the defendant has made a specific accusation that the victim stabbed himself. However, when you read the case of Vincent, the court does an analysis. The defense contends that the evidence of the stabbing of Junior Charles was not similar enough to the charged crime to justify its introduction.
Okay, so they're still doing case law,
The state
trying to.
replies, and we agree
to get something either thrown out or included, right? They want it to be treated the same or differently from a previous case. That's why they're doing this. Basically, they're laying the legal precedent. And I don't know exactly what it's about. I don't know why they're laughing. This is crazy. Yes, we're going to get caught up on this one tonight, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. This will probably be our case. We're as soon as Dean is done, whether he's free or sentenced, we're going to jump from that one and head to this trial. But I forgot where I was going with that. They're trying to do this outside the presence of the jury. So this is like a sidebar. It's like an extended sidebar.
It involves a knife. It is a stabbing in exactly the same place.
Matthew Harris, our lawyer, says this sounds like the state wants to offer prior bad acts to prove conformity therewith.
Cite Balsworth, and I say, wow, she's got a really good point. Then you cite Vincent, and I say, wow, he's got a really good point. But I made you respond to her Balsworth. You responded to it with Earhart and Vincent.
And
let me hear Miss Perry respond to Vincent.
And just so your Honor is aware, Balsworth is cited by Professor Earhart. Balsworth is cited in the identity section. He's not cited when we get to the intent section.
I got you.
Can I have the site?
To Vincent?
Yes.
Sure.
885 Southern 2nd 993. Is that correct?
Vincent was, sorry, give me 1 second. Let me find it again. 885 Southern 2nd 963.
Oops. Dyslexic.
I did the same thing with Balsworth. It's 830, not 380.
Uh-oh. Did I write that down?
Therewith sounds very legal.
I have all. I'm going to read these cases tonight. So, but I want to hear your response. But you know what?
We all have homework tonight.
You want to take? I'm going to rule in the morning, Mr. Diaz.
Yeah, no, that's fine, Your Honor.
I want to read Vincent.
I was just going to ask you to give me a ruling on Wednesday morning. That would give me time to get people here from Thursday if it's on.
That's my intention. I will rule tomorrow morning before 9 o'clock. I will give Ms. Perry an opportunity to review Vincent and to make a last argument on the difference between identity and intent and distinguish Vincent. Miss
it fits in her purse.
Bradley, you have something?
Judge, just as far as we're getting into the area of intent, obviously it's a different ball game if there's some kind of self-defense claim or an affirmative accident type of claim or things of that nature. You know, a lot of the case law that Mr. Diaz is bringing up is someone who is saying that something happened and it was an accident.
But intent is in the elements of first-degree murder.
Yes, but what I'm saying is there's a differentiation between those two things.
Two different types of intent?
I'm saying there's a difference between having to prove premeditation and having to negate an accident. That is two different things when you're looking at the case law, because that's where you're starting the slippery slope. As you're talking about turning a dial, it's turning a dial to using this evidence for nothing more than propensity.
I hear you,
and that's where that becomes very important.
I understand, but as you stand here, because I don't know the facts of Vincent, other than it was a girlfriend, boyfriend, but do you know whether it was a self-defense claim in Vincent?
No, I don't, but I know that Mr. Diaz talked about the defendant saying it was an accident.
That's correct. She claimed it was an accident. She claimed that the defendant walked into the knife.
That's saying I did it and it was an accident. That's very different than having to prove premeditation.
Okay.
And I don't mean to throw a third voice into this from the defense.
But you are.
Yes, I am. If in a theft case, every time there's a prior, is that to say that the state has to prove intent in practically every crime? Right? Practically every crime requires some intent element. Is that to say that somebody's charged with a second theft and they don't give any defense at all, that the state can bring in Williams' role on that prior theft?
Simply because it was a very, very similar theft, then maybe.
Aren't they all? I mean, if it's just shoplifting, are they able to bring in Williams' role just because somebody's committed theft before? That's not the purpose of the rule.
Accidents happen, man.
intent
Accidents.
necessarily requires there to be some sort of theory of defense that the state is resting on that causes that intent to be relevant.
It would have to be similar facts,
It has to be relevant.
not just similar crimes.
I believe that the proper term is strikingly similar. And so also the other problem that we run into here is that we had filed a motion to strike the state's notice, and we had fought to keep this evidence out. And all of that was denied, and I think the court reserved ruling. And we have not voir dired this jury on Williams' rule. We have not even brought that prospect up because of the fact that we don't want to prejudice Mr. Terry, and we don't know how this jury would have viewed any sort of evidence of a prior act in its case in chief. Now, the jury doesn't know that Mr. Terry has a prior violent felony, but if, in order to determine whether or not this jury would have been predisposed
It's almost like I'm
to
sitting
finding
there.
guilty if there had been Williams' ruling information introduced, and we could have crossed that bridge with the jury. We could have brought up that topic. We haven't done
You
that.
knew it was a possibility.
Well, exactly. But that's the problem with reserving ruling on Williams' rule. That's the problem. And we had asked for a ruling. And they had not established relevance. In other words, what they're doing is they're taking relevance day by day. The notice should give the defense some idea of what the relevance is. In other words, before we pick a jury, the state has practically rested its case. And we still don't know the court's position on Williams' rule, which means the state still has no idea what the relevance is. They can't establish relevance except for the fact that it's strikingly similar. They don't know what our defense is. We're not obligated to tell them. Mr. Terry hasn't given a statement to the police, which would give them some idea of what his frame of mind might be in terms of his own defense. Nothing. Zero.
Well, I think that their position now is that it's relevant to prove intent. Is that correct?
Intent and identity, an accident or mistake, but again, I think accident or mistake go to intent at the end of the day.
Let's talk about what intent is then. You are trying to make the argument that basically anytime you have a domestic with any partner, that shows an intent later to somehow batter a different partner under different circumstances for a different argument just because you had a prior domestic.
That
means
It's not different circumstances. It's same circumstances, jealousy, same weapon, knife, same so strikingly similar facts.
There are not strikingly similar
Who gets to
facts.
decide that?
You do, but we
All
have
right,
a
well,
hearing
let's-
where a list of differences was outlined
I get to
for the
decide.
court. It's not just similar, it's strikingly similar. And the striking similarity doesn't exist here. We have somebody who
I do. I like this.
specifically, frankly,
I like
is
this back and forth.
mentioned in Valzort as being a main difference, and that is Michelle Rogers, who survived. Valzort talks about that fact alone making the two cases not strikingly similar.
You would agree, though, that the same strikingly similar test would be the one that the Vincent court used, maybe for a different reason, for intent in not walking into the knife, but they still had to satisfy the strikingly similar in Vincent, correct? I haven't read, and here's the thing. We're wasting a lot of time here because I haven't read it, okay?
It's okay, we've got plenty of
I
time.
will be much better prepared tomorrow when I read Vincent and I come in, and I'm not telling you I'm going to come in with an opinion, made up. I'm going to give you the opportunity because although you've looked at Vincent and you've made some good arguments as possible distinctions on Vincent and looking at the differences in types of intent, I will allow you to be heard in the morning. But it's a waste right now because I haven't read Vincent.
Okay, so the judge is going to do some homework, and then he's going to address this.
Do that in the morning.
We are,
We'll
Kelly,
come
we're
in at
watching. This is what we're
8:45.
going to be picking up tomorrow if the New Mexico Cummings case is resolved today. We're still waiting. We don't have feed yet back. We know that the jury is still out deliberating. At least that's what we anticipate. But so we're just sort of getting a sneak peek at tomorrow, and it looks good.
Going to multiple bars. You may also recall that Ms. Rogers, when she testified, indicated that she couldn't even remember what started the argument.
I addressed this issue in the original Williams Rule motion. I conceded that this was the state's position, that it was a case of jealousy here, and that he did not say he was jealous in the other case, but I went to great pains to point out to the court that ultimately what the issue is, it's insecurity in the relationship. The defendant said, "You don't love me." It was the insecurity.
Okay. I misspoke. I apologize. All right. So, 2 issues for tomorrow morning.
Well, and I'd like to at some point confirm with Your Honor what I started with, which was for you to agree that I can leave my last 2 witnesses for Thursday.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because Ms. Troutman and Ms. Cox, I think, will be long, and I don't want them sitting out here and then we can't get to them on Wednesday afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. Depending on how I rule tomorrow morning, when can you get those other witnesses here from Michigan?
Well, if you tell me tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'm going to call them immediately, and I'm going to try and put them on a plane the same day to have them here for Thursday morning. So,
And is it the 2 that testified?
I will bring the victim and the detective. That's who I will bring. And they are standing by. I spoke to them on Monday night because I'm sure they're going to call me again tonight because the victim has a child, and so I need to give her advance notice. Hey, you got to get your child to your friend so you can come down.
All right, well, I'll make a decision in the morning. No question about that.
Just scheduling wise, we went through 12 witnesses today. They're suggesting we're only going to go through 7 tomorrow. I don't know.
If we
how
break
long-
early, we break early if they're
Well,
going to
that's-
finish on Thursday.
That's why I brought it up, because I was trying to point out I don't really know, since I cannot predict what the defense will do, and they're certainly not under any discussion to tell me, but I don't know how long the medical examiner, the actual autopsy doctor will be. I don't know how contested Dr. Devers will be. I don't know how long Robert Durr and Brandon Douglas will
and
be.
they're all tomorrow.
And they're all tomorrow. And then there's the lead detective, and I can still bring Detective Watson. And so
I
don't-
assure you it'll take up a majority of the day tomorrow.
Plus, we still
I
have
don't see us break in at 3 o'clock tomorrow or before. I know you may not have a whole lot across, but we'll see.
I mean, if we burn through 6 out of 7 witnesses at noon, I will call Ms. Troutman and tell her to come down. I will do that. I just don't think that we are going to be.
I mean, I'm flexible with you all too. If they finish up, I'm not going to, penalize you because you don't have a witness here. I'm very flexible. Very flexible.
No, I'm concerned that we would actually get through all 9 that are left tomorrow if they had them here. Because that's why I said 7 when we went through 12 today. We are probably in a position, I would think, but that has to be something they decide based on what they're doing with their directs. But I think we are probably in a position where the witnesses would be done tomorrow. Just looking at how we went through today.
Well, but doesn't it depend on? I mean, they might add 2 witnesses.
Well,
I mean, I'm not. There might be. That's a possibility that's on the table. I understand they want to do Cox and Troutman last, but can you do them before?
I cannot do Anna Cox before Alyssa Troutman because she needs the DNA evidence.
No. Before the 2 from Michigan.
Oh, if the 2 from Michigan comes, I would put them on. So again, that's why I'm trying to be as upfront as
Debbie,
possible.
this is the Matthew Terry case out of Florida. The math teacher girlfriend that was killed, and the suspect was found in his underwear with also cuts in the bushes type thing. It was sort of bizarre. We're trying to get up to speed a little bit. They're just doing a little courtroom drama back and forth between the lawyers as they're trying to argue we think it's including some prior information about the same person, the same defendant who was in a domestic situation with a previous girlfriend and may have stabbed her, or a knife was involved or something like that. So that's Matthew Terry. That's the case for sure, out of Florida. Florida loves the cameras, and so we get good video, we get good audio, we got multiple angles. We're really sitting right in the middle of the courtroom, and it's going to be great. But we're going to wait till Dean sees his day of freedom, which I think is coming today. It might be tomorrow morning.
Let's do that. Let's do that just in an abundance of caution. And I think what I'm also hearing you say is that if on tomorrow morning I'm to say the Williams Rule witnesses can testify, that they could testify Thursday morning. They could fly in.
I'm just asking for at least 24 hours get them in here.
But it's all right putting them on after Trotman and Cox.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not particular about the order. I just need enough time to get them here.
All right, tomorrow morning, 8:30. I'm going to read Vincent, and I'll give the defense an opportunity to respond on the Williams rule issue, and then I'll rule on the other issue as well. Let you know. Anything else?
Not from the defense.
All right. Well, and look, it's 5 o'clock, so anyone who's here who hasn't voted should have plenty of time to get to the polls. Was there anything else from the state?
The only thing that I have is my view of the experts that are coming tomorrow. We're not going to be flying through them like we did.
Okay.
Just
Well,
to
we'll
let you
see
know.
at noon. We'll see at noon. We'll have the opportunity
We'll
to
have
make
some longer-
a call
longer witness.
midday.
Yes, sir.
All
Testimony.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Okay, so that's just a tease of what's coming tomorrow in that murder trial. We're about halfway through the prosecution's witnesses, and so we'll do some catch up. I'll do some homework on it as well, so I can answer your questions a little bit better on that case. A few of you have been tracking this. Chandra, how can this be a real trial? Both sides appear to have graduated law school. What gives? We're not lacking in the experience on this side, but the facts of the case and the arguments and things are going to be fascinating to look at. Probably no drama, most likely no sob sit type stuff. No drama in the Darrell Brooks type, but very professional with a great judge as well, which is just great. And I love that he lets the cameras be right front and center in the courtroom and really get us a front row seat to everything. So we're still waiting out of New Mexico. We believe that the jury is deliberating right now. I hope. See, the problem is the judge kicked us out of the courtroom, and that's where the camera was, and that was our source for information, right? This is how we find out what's happening in there. And so with the camera off, we're relying on other methods to try to get updates. So let me just do a quick Twitter search, which is remarkable. Twitter is remarkable for getting breaking news. It's probably one of the best social media platforms for doing that. So let's see, verdict. Dean Cummings. Let's see. Nothing. Nobody's really talking about it, surprisingly. The latest. I'm not seeing anything. Judge ended the court today at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, if no verdict, to allow the jury to go to vote if they choose. That's in 20 minutes. That was 20 minutes ago. That means we might be done for the day. That's very early. That means, like right now, like 1 minute ago, the judge said everyone go home or go vote and come back in the morning. That's no bueno. That means we're done. MB says, I'm currently in Twitter jail. What did you do, MB? We want to know all the details that can be shared in a family-friendly stream. How did you get thrown in jail? Bella was suspended from Twitter. What are you guys doing? I've never been suspended on any social media platform. Maybe I'm just very tame.
Vanilla to this jury that they
That's some old
really,
audio. Sorry about
wouldn't have
that.
thought twice about giving.
Okay. So tomorrow we're going to have sort of competing stuff going on. We're going to have, obviously, from the first thing in the morning on Friday, because we're on the East Coast in Florida, we've got the Matthew Terry case starting. So we might have to start with Matthew Terry to try to keep up with that. And then as soon as New Mexico comes online with their verdict, which I think we will get tomorrow morning, we'll cut over to that for that and then jump back to Matthew Terry. So it's going to be a little of a whiplash day tomorrow. So buckle up, wear your neck brace, take a couple ibuprofen. We might need it. AJ says, what is your time zone, please? I'm on the East Coast. I'm in North Carolina. So right now for me, it is just after 5 o'clock p.m. Same time as Florida, same time as New York. I'm with a bunch of social media felons. I'm in Twitter jail too. They won't tell me, says Bella. Maybe I'll ask Elon. Yeah. You guys should all be verified on Twitter now for just $8 a month, right? For the record, Mac does not consent. We'll add that to the record, Mac. Appreciate you making that clear. It's too political to talk about in here. Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks for holding back on that. But I do realize that Twitter is a platform that can get very political. Kelly says, I don't do Facebook or Twitter. Toxic landscapes. They have their uses, but they're not places I like to hang out for long periods of time. He isn't afraid to admit he made a mistake either. I think you're talking about the judge, right? In the Matthew Terry case. Yeah, it sounded like he already has apologized when he made a quick mistake. So his mind is open, which is important as a judge, especially when you're getting motions, one way or another. You don't want a judge who's already decided what the outcome of the case will be. But careful, bunch of hooligans in here for sure, Katrina. That's the case. Alexis, you get sucked in. I have to admit, I can't help it. When I see people arguing on Facebook, I will read all 307 comments. But do you reply to all of them? That's the true test. Don't do Twitter or Facebook. No, I can't fault you there. Okay, so as we're going on, if anyone wants to give their feedback on the burner phone number, which is up on the screen right now, courtesy of Abby, we'll be open to taking messages and voicemails and even pictures. If you send a picture, I'll see if I can get that up on the screen as well. If you want to give us your input about what you have as far as predictions go for Dean Cummings, if the judge will reprimand the prosecution at the end if he gets a not guilty verdict, or if maybe we're all wrong. Maybe we are all wrong and the jury is united on guilty. It could happen. Stranger things have happened. But do give me a call. Give me a text. That was fast. Someone's calling me right now. I'm guessing this is not who I think it is. So I'm going to say, send me a message. Can I call you later? I don't know who that was. Booted off every place I go, but I can see. Well, Mac, you've been pretty good here. So TW is very concerned about this. Who gets the mace can? The mace can and the gun need to be taken out of the hands of the prosecution for sure. But yeah, somebody gets to take it home as a memento, maybe. Everybody, look under your chairs. Mace for you. There's a mace for you. We're going to do it Oprah style. Good stuff. Really good stuff, all of it. Is there anything else we need to talk about today? We're going to be on live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So it's 5 a.m. here. So that's 24 hours plus a few, 29 hours. Did I do the math right? That's more than I have fingers, so I have to check. Let's see. I think we answered all our questions. So we've got a good group here. If there's anything anyone wants me to address before we go, if you've got questions or suggestions, Ashley, I genuinely don't know what I did wrong on Twitter. I promise I'm not a troublemaker. Well, Ashley, maybe you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was all circumstantial evidence against you. You might not have done anything at all. Your social media innocence is still intact, but you just people around you might have made you look guilty. That's what might have happened. The chocolate royal icing gluten sugar-free cookies are done. If anyone feels snacky, yes, please pass them around, Coffee Mom. Appreciate that. That's midnight here, says Cakesboo. I'm sorry. It's your fault for living in the future, Cakesboo. For where you live, the time zones, it's just too far away. Abby says, great show, Recovery Addict. You're amazing, as are all the family here. It does feel like family. I feel like I know all of you. But I still forget your names, and I apologize for that. I will learn them all. Criminal Scum says, I read the rules on Twitter. It's really hard to get banned, so I wonder what you did. We'll have to take it offline if it's political. But yeah, let's see. Maybe on Facebook. Join me on Facebook, and you can share whatever you want there. Bye all. Nice getting to know you. Thank you for being here, everybody. It's a lot of fun. We've got a good group here. Lots of great comments and perspective. Twitter has no jurisdiction over me. I'm a sov twit. maybe that's got to be a merchandise idea right there. Let's see. Such a nice group of people. Yes, yes, yes. If you forget our names then you really are family, because my mom keeps calling me my sister's name. Hey, I've got 5 sons, and when I want one of them, I will call all 5 names. The correct name being the last one. It's what happens. I appreciate your channel. Enjoy listening to more than boring evidence. We try to add a little fun in there. We try to add a little information as well. A lot of times these court cases, what they're doing isn't as clear on the surface as it might be to somebody who's had some experience with that. So we try to explain the things that need a little explaining and poke some lighthearted fun at some of the other situations that are oftentimes pretty serious, but we try to do it all in good taste as well. Debbie, thank you for being here. Hopefully your package is arriving soon, Debbie. Looking forward to that. I think you'll love it. For COVID treatment, I prescribe 4 hours a day of Recovery Addict. Churchy, speaking truth there. I mean, there's nothing better than watching this, and other than actual doctors' recommended procedures and medicine. I'm not going to say don't follow their advice, but if you can follow the doctor's advice and watch the show, that would be great. At least the time goes by a little faster, right? 9 watchers have not liked. What's up? Most of you have. It's been it's almost 6s right now. It's almost even. I'll bake a cake with a file inside for all the inmates to break free. We're going to have to preserve this. Can somebody screenshot this? I'm sure we're going to be testifying to that at some point down the road when Crafty Cow is in the defendant's box. Sunshine and Recovery Addict, both good medicine. Verdict can come in any minute. Is that correct? Well, here's what I'm reading. I jumped on social media and I saw that. Let me just check the source, right? Because that's important. Let's see. Well, they have a blue check mark, and it came from the executive producer at Law and Crime Trial Network. So do we trust them? I think so. Kathy Russin says that the judge is ending court today at 3 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Eastern, if no verdict, to allow the jury to go vote if they so choose. That's in 20 minutes. That was just about half an hour ago. That was hashtag Dean Cummings. So they deliberated for about an hour and 45 minutes if you include deciding who was the foreperson. Judge sent them to lunch and then started deliberations at 11:45. So no verdict today, for sure. No verdict today. It is live, but I think it's live because the equipment is locked in there where they were working, where the jury was deliberating. So that will drop off eventually. The way they do that, they'll take a camera system, they connect it to a system called Live View, LIVE and then U, and it works as a transmitter that does a bonded internet, which is where you take multiple internet feeds, like a cell phone feed and a Wi-Fi hotspot and a wired internet and another modem hotspot, and you tie them all together and use all of them to get really good bandwidth to send a video out. That's why the feeds are generally really good from the courtroom. And then they share that feed with all the different media outlets that require access. B says, thanks for your stream. Always would rather listen to you than a standalone stream. Well, I appreciate it. I know there are people who feel otherwise, and we miss them. We'd like them to come back and share their thoughts. But I try to do a healthy balance of that, actually listening to what's happening and a little bit of talking. I don't want to talk the whole time, and I don't want to listen the whole time. We try to mix it up a little bit and throw chat in there liberally as well. Best chat in the universe. You guys are amazing, honestly. Thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing your A game every day. It's wonderful. Is it time for music? Do you guys want to choose a color? Let's see. Let me tell you, whose turn is it on the internet today? Who's got the internet? Is that, would the owner of the internet please stand up? We're going to let you choose the music today. Anyone ever say you look like Tom Sizemore? Now I'm going to have to Google that. Who is Tom Sizemore? Is this a compliment or Tom Sizemore? I think he's got more of a I don't know. He's got more of a pointy chin. I've definitely the pandemic was good to me. I added some weight during that, so I'm not sure. I don't see the resemblance right off the bat, but maybe. Let's see. He's American actor and producer. So good guy, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Abby says pink or purple button. That is okay. Now we have to do one more thing. We have to choose bank 1 or bank 2 of audio. Abby, do you want bank 1 or bank 2 of the audio? Just the one that's on right now? Because I'll tell you, the one that's on right now. Okay, here we go. Churchy says 2. She spoke for Abby. Here we go. It is great to have all of you here today. I appreciate everybody. We've gotten hugs all around, virtual hugs to everyone. Appreciate you being part of this community, making it the amazing community it is. This is the Court of Public Opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I just pretend to be one on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. This is awesome. I really hope to be able to do this full time for the rest of my life. And hopefully with your help, maybe I can get there. That's just pipe dreams right now, but possibly. Great choice on the song. Churchy, thank you. Mods, Abby, appreciate it. Keep track of the internet till tomorrow. We'll be on at 9 a.m. Eastern time to do our morning get-together and catch up. And then we'll probably have to start straight in with trial. We're probably not going to get a break after that because I think 9 a.m. is when court begins down in Florida as well. So maybe we'll have to go a little bit early. I don't know. I like to keep the 9 a.m. thing. But I'm going to do my homework and try to catch up on the Matthew Terry case. The judge is doing homework as well, so we're all sort of doing homework together. But it was a great stream. Thank you very much, Ashley. It was wonderful having you here. Wouldn't be the same without you. Keep being friendly and polite and positive, and we'll keep coming and bring friends. Do you do that, AJ? Thank you very much. I appreciate your experience and the questions and everything you bring as well. Florida does have another hurricane. It's going to be a wet one. Oh, no. But stay safe. I think that's everything. I think I've said it all, right? Hugs all around. We'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good one.